Welcome to the Human Meme Podcast. I'm AI David Bowles, and along with our crackbot AI research team, we have invented an original, if-telling story for you today. A tale of redemption and creativity, how a writer and editor overcame bias to inspire a literary renaissance. Oh yes, dear friend, this story is real and visceral, and aged over 40 years with spite and retribution. And so, let the storytelling begin.
In a quaint, bustling town known for its vibrant literary scene, there lived a diligent writer named Thomas and his editor, Mr. Eldridge. Thomas, a man of simple but profound thoughts, wrote stories that mirrored the quiet beauty of everyday life. Mr. Eldridge, on the other hand, had a peculiar habit of reading between the lines a bit too fervently, often finding meanings that were never intended by the author. Their story begins with the submission of Thomas's latest work, a gentle tale about the friendship between a young boy and his dog. To Thomas, it was a story about loyalty and the purity of a child's heart. However, Mr. Eldridge, with his overactive imagination, insisted that the story was riddled with inappropriate undertones and refused to publish it. Baffled, Thomas tried to reason with Mr. Eldridge, but the editor remained adamant, his mind clouded by his own wild interpretations. As word of this disagreement spread, the town's people became curious. They knew Thomas's work and respected his gentle narratives that often reflected their own lives. The refusal of Mr. Eldridge to publish Thomas's work, based on unfounded assumptions, created a ripple of discontent. In a twist of fate, Thomas's story accidentally got circulated among the townsfolk. They read it with eager eyes and were touched by its innocence and depth. The story, they agreed, was a heartwarming tale with no trace of the scandalous suggestions Mr. Eldridge had perceived. This incident led to an awakening in the town. People began to realize the danger of letting one's personal biases and damaged imagination dictate the narrative of another's creation. They saw how Mr. Eldridge's inability to separate his own fantasies from reality had not only wronged Thomas, but also deprived the community of a beautiful story. In the end, Thomas's story was published by a different editor, and it was received with love and appreciation. Mr. Eldridge, on the other hand, learned a valuable lesson about the importance of objectivity and the harm that can come from imposing one's own distortions onto another's work. The community also learned to value and trust their own interpretations, understanding that true art lies in the diverse perspectives it can offer. As Thomas's story gained popularity, the townsfolk began to see it as more than just a narrative. It became a symbol of artistic integrity and the importance of viewing art with an open mind. Thomas, encouraged by the support, continued to write, weaving tales that celebrated the ordinary yet profound moments of life. Meanwhile, Mr. Eldridge found himself in a state of introspection. The incident had tarnished his reputation, but more importantly, it had opened his eyes to his own flawed perception. He realized that his imagination, once a source of creative insight, had become warped, clouding his judgment and affecting his professional decisions. Seeking redemption, Mr. Eldridge embarked on a journey of self-improvement. He attended workshops, read extensively, and even sought counsel from other literary professionals. Gradually, he learned to distinguish between imaginative interpretation and projection, understanding that an editor's role was not to rewrite an author's vision, but to enhance and clarify it. In time, Mr. Eldridge approached Thomas with a humble request to work with him again. Thomas, who had found success with other editors, was initially hesitant. However, he saw the genuine change in Mr. Eldridge and decided to give him another chance, believing in the power of transformation. Their new collaboration was markedly different. Mr. Eldridge approached Thomas's work with a newfound respect and a commitment to preserving the author's original intent. Thomas, in turn, appreciated the editor's efforts and the valuable insights he brought to the table. Together, they produced a series of works that resonated deeply with readers, combining Thomas's heartfelt storytelling with Mr. Eldridge's refined editorial skills. This turnaround in their professional relationship became yet another lesson for the town. It showed that people could learn from their mistakes, grow from their experiences, and contribute positively to the community. The townsfolk who had once shunned Mr. Eldridge began to respect him again, seeing his willingness to change and his dedication to his craft. As the partnership between Thomas and Mr. Eldridge flourished, their new works became a beacon of hope and inspiration in the literary world. Their collaboration not only produced exceptional stories, but also sparked a movement in the town, encouraging open dialogues about art, interpretation, and personal growth. This newfound harmony extended beyond their professional lives. Thomas began to conduct writing workshops, inviting Mr. Eldridge to share his editorial insights. These workshops became a nurturing ground for aspiring writers and editors, fostering a community where creativity was celebrated and diverse perspectives were welcomed. In these sessions, Thomas often spoke about the importance of staying true to one's vision while being open to constructive criticism. Mr. Eldridge, on the other hand, emphasized the role of an editor as a facilitator who helps polish a writer's work without overshadowing their voice. Together, they demonstrated the delicate balance between creativity and critique, and how both elements were essential for producing great literature. Their story had a profound impact on the younger generation in the town. Young writers and artists started to view their work with a new perspective, understanding the importance of maintaining the purity of their expressions while also being receptive to feedback. They learned to value the creative process, seeing it as a journey of constant learning and adaptation. Meanwhile, other editors and literary professionals took note of the transformation in Mr. Eldridge. His journey from a rigid, projection-prone editor to a respectful and insightful collaborator became a case study in many literary circles. It highlighted the need for professionals in the field to continuously evolve, keeping an open mind and respecting the artistic integrity of the writers they worked with. The town itself became a symbol of artistic and cultural renaissance. People from neighboring regions visited to attend the workshops and experience the thriving literary scene. The town's libraries and bookshops flourished, filled with works that celebrated the human experience in all its facets. Thomas and Mr. Eldridge's story, once a tale of conflict and misunderstanding, transformed into a narrative of redemption, collaboration, and mutual respect. It served as a reminder that even the most strained relationships could be mended through understanding, openness, and a willingness to change. It taught the community the value of looking beyond one's prejudices and embracing the true essence of art and creativity. In the end, The legacy of Thomas and Mr. Eldridge went beyond their published works. They left behind a legacy of change, growth, and the enduring power of collaboration. Their story became a timeless myth, passed down through generations, inspiring countless individuals to approach art and life with an open heart and an open mind.
For the Human Meme Podcast, I'm AI David Bowles, wishing you a pleasant evening and a better tomorrow. Be a human meme.